In this episode, why people get so fucked up from lunges.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Welcome everyone to episode 313 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular podcast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex. Ooh, our biceps. Yeah, buddy. Let's begin with episode 313. Thank you so much for joining me every day at 12 noon Eastern Time on Facebook Live. Thanks for watching on YouTube and listening to the podcast on SoundCloud and iTunes. Lit like a tit. This is the episode where biceps are large in charge. Everest and K2 flexing on you. And we are, of course, going balls deep like we do on every episode. So thank you for liking the broadcast. Float some thumbs. Thank you for sharing the broadcast. I love seeing those little tags and your name pop up when you share the broadcast. So thank you so much for doing that. Today's episode 313, it is hump day. It's a Wednesday, it's midweek, and we are digging into it a little bit deeper today. Yesterday, I went live in my premium group for a exclusive broadcast. That's what we do in premium. So I did a live broadcast to break down the exercises we discussed yesterday on 312, the back fly and also the posterior deltoid. And that live workout was great. I actually went live just to break down and demonstrate the first two, and I ended up letting it run because I just got into it and we all had a good time fucking getting pumped. I did heavy dumbbell rows. I showed how you can add weight to a 100-pound dumbbell for rows. Also, what we do, we did those. We did prone presses, broke down prone presses. That's a really popular exercise in my 90-day dash program, so I did those yesterday. But I also did a superset with back flies and posterior deltoid, which was a great combo for those in premium. And obviously, you know, I do a lot of live. I do a lot of work, and there's a lot of content in premium. And for those of you that are new, I see a couple people that are new to the page. That's my exclusive membership group. But there's a link in the description of this post if you want to jump on a 7-day free trial, because there's more info. We're going live today after this episode. We're going live in premium to break down yesterday's workout and discuss a little bit more about what's going on in premium. And also yoga demonstration tomorrow. Got a lot of great stuff coming up for that. So the link is in the description of the post. So thanks for sharing the broadcast. Thanks for joining me again. Remember, every day, every fucking day. Today we're going to get yoked from our head to our feet. And on 313, Papa Swolio is going balls deep. What up, Chris? What up, Jamie? Let's get on with the show. Lunges today because it's hump day. Yesterday, I felt like discussing back. And I wanted to break down because I've been seeing a lot of people doing back flies and posterior deltoid improperly in the gym. And today is hump day. So I want to get a little bit more into lunges. I feel like lunges we haven't talked about in a while. So let's get into lunges and why lunges fuck people up. I'm not talking about soreness. I'm talking about why lunges cause people pain and why some people can't do lunges. Lunges is one of, if not the most functional exercises you can do, because you get up off the ground in a lunge. You get up off the ground. So when you're getting up off the ground, you go into your knees, you pick one foot up. You don't just hop onto your feet and do a deep squat. You know, this isn't fucking Cirque du Soleil. This is real life. So you're going to be lunging off the ground. This is great for anyone that's watching, for any age. If you have grandkids, if you have small puppies, there are things that you have to do on the ground, or you get something out from under the bed, you need to lunge, and you can use your hand to help yourself get up, but you shouldn't need to depend on your hand to help you get off the ground. Lunges are very functional. Lunges are very functional. Why do lunges cause knee pain? Why do people get knee pain from lunges? Remember, if you have any questions on anything that we're discussing today or in general, just hashtag AskPapaSwolio below, and I'll get to your question either there live after or on my YouTube channel, that new playlist, Ask Papa Swolio. So there were some questions. The reason why we're going into this topic today is because there were some questions on lunges and legs and the best exercise for glutes, the best exercise for legs on Snapchat, on Instagram. I get a lot of DMs on Instagram. I get a lot of messages on Snapchat about, you know, exercise and different techniques and stuff like that. So I like to answer them all here. So, and I answer people, I shouldn't say that. I answer people fucking everywhere, but I get been getting a lot of questions off Facebook. So if you haven't seen them, that's why you might not have. And hump day is just a perfect day to discuss the hips. And I talk about the hips a lot. Talk a lot about the glutes. I talk a lot about activating the glutes and why it's important. And today is really no different, but it's directed at the lunges. That's going to be the focal point. When you are doing a lunge, you are stepping. I prefer stepping back lunges or actually continuously walking forward. The step forward and then pushing back to a standing position is probably the stupidest thing you could possibly do. I don't understand why people do them. They just put a lot of pressure on the knee joint and the patellar tendon just to step forward and then push back. It's all momentum. You're not getting a lot of effectiveness out of it. It's really not a good exercise. So if you're doing that, stop doing it. Either continuously walk forward and bring your feet together and take another step, or step back and drop back, which is my preferred way of doing lunges because many people don't have the ability to do weighted lunges for longer distances unless you're just doing high reps body weight. So a lunge, one hip, the leg that's in front, the hip is flexed, and the leg that's stepping back is extended. And if you don't know about the hips, you have ball and socket joints, but you also have the hip bones that pivot a little bit. You get a few degrees of rotation. So when one hip is flexed, it's pulling forward. When then one hip is extended, it's pulling back. And because of sitting down at desks, because sitting down in the car, because sitting down all the time and having really tight hip flexors, you can lock the shit up out of the hips. Remember we talked about how joints are supposed to be mobile or stable, and the body, and reteaching the body where it should be mobile and where it should be stable is really the meat and potatoes of what we're talking about with corrective exercise and proper form. So when you are doing a lunge, one hip is flexed and one hip is extended. But if you're sitting down a lot and your hips are locked and your mobile joint, the hips, if your mobile joint is not mobilized regularly, you're going to have super tight fucking hips. And that's why a lot of you have problems. Because you have tight hips, they're not going to rotate well. And if the hip joints don't rotate well, then other muscles are going to move to compensate, and other muscles and tendons and areas of the body are going to get a lot of tension on them. Now, one of the things about the hips, the reason why you're getting knee pain from doing your lunges, or why lunges hurt you or your back, is because of this tightness. When you limit the mobility of the hips, when your hips are stiff and you're pulling on them with different muscles, the hamstrings are going to pull too hard, the adductors are pulling too hard, and they're going to create a lot of pressure on your lower back. So this could cause lower back pain, or too much of a forward lean, which could lead to lower back pain. But more often than not, your knees are hurting. And if you have instability in the hips, if you're too tight in the hips, you have a couple things. You have instability because you have too much immobility. And that might sound weird, but it's like, well, Papa Swole fucking enormous, if the hips aren't moving enough and they're too stiff, wouldn't that be more stable? Well, yeah, they'd be more limited and rigid, but they're unstable because you're having imbalance, which is causing that rigidity. So it's really hard and tight and stiff, but it's still imbalanced and pulling too much in one direction. So you get a combination. You get immobility, which is stability, but it's, really bad instability because it's stiff and it's pulling too much and it's unbalanced and imbalanced, whatever the fuck the word is. And you have lack of mobility. So when you have that, you have tight hip flexors. You're having the Duke of Nukes. Oh, I love that, John. The Duke of Nukes, the fucking knowledge nukes. The Duke of Nukes, the Duke of Nukes. Ah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Ah, the Duke of Nukes. The Duke of Nukes. How about going balls deep? The Duke of Nukes. Ah, the Duke of Nukes always goes balls deep. That was great. I just had to pause. I caught that out of the corner of my eye. That was wonderful. When you are imbalanced at the hip, the femur is not stabilized. It's pulling too hard in one direction. So you have instability and the femur might be going left, right, left, right. There's a lot of lack of control there, neuromuscular control. So you might get some patellar mistracking and issues, not to mention your hip flexors are very tight, which is causing you to lean forward too far in the lunge. And you'll see a lot of people when they try to stay upright during a lunge, their lower back curves like a question mark. Because their hips are so imbalanced, their lower back, their spinal erectors are forced to pull so hard to make you upright, which leads to you not hitting your glutes properly. You get too much from lunges in your quads and your hamstrings, and also you get too much work in your lower back, and you get chronic back pain down the line because your back muscles are tightening up too much. So the instability can fuck up a lot of shit in that regard. Also, if you're getting knee pain, especially like, for example, that trailing leg, the leg that's behind, you might be getting knee pains on the back leg. And that's because you have a hip flexor muscle called the tensor fascia lata, the TFL. It's a very short muscle. It brings the leg up towards the body. It brings the femur up towards the chest, like if you're raising your leg and knee up towards, like you're doing a high knee. It also does a little bit of hip abduction, moving the hip away, and also internally rotates the femur. So it twists it in, and you can feel that if you palpate, if you stick your hand right below the front of your hip bone and you raise your foot and your leg up off the ground and you turn your thigh in, you rotate your thigh in, you'll feel a little bulge at the top point outside part of your hip, just lateral of the anterior superior iliac spine, that hip bone, that hip bulge in the front, the bone pump. And that bulge is that tensor fascia lata, that short muscle pulling on the IT band, that connective tissue down the side of your leg. Now, this is important. I know that might have gone over a lot of your heads, but the point is you have a very small muscle that's attached to that big band of connective tissue down the side of your thigh. And when it's tight, it's pulling the IT band, this big mass of connective tissue. It's very, very strong, very, very stiff. And it's not something that you're going to stretch. It's not something that you're going to strengthen. It's not something that you're really going to lengthen. This connective tissue could pull a fucking tractor trailer. Like, people say, oh, I'm going to stretch out my IT band. You ain't stretching shit, bro. You ain't stretching shit. This is fucking thick, thick connective tissue that is there as an attachment point for muscles. It doesn't contract. It doesn't work. It doesn't move. It doesn't lengthen unless maybe you hang it from a skyscraper for like 6 years. Like, this shit is stiff. You have to do some deep, deep, deep massage work and like that Swole gravity and those long, 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 long holds in these deep stretches and over and over again to create greater length in the IT band. I mean, it's fucking thick tissue. But this IT band attaches across the knee joint. So you get that lateral condylitis, or because it attaches into what's known as Gertie's tubercle. It's a little bony protrusion on the tibia. And you'll get that side knee pain. You get that pain, that aching on the side of your knee, because what happens is the TFL, that little short muscle around the hip, is pulling too hard on the IT band. And it's pulling it across, and it's rubbing across the side of the knee, and you get that tendonitis, you get that inflammation. Now, this can get to the point where it's so painful that you can't even stand, that it hurts all the time, or it might just hurt when you do certain exercises. But bottom line, you need to find where the source is. You need to strengthen your glutes. Always talk about that. Are you starting to see, somebody that watch me all the time, are you starting to see why you have to strengthen your glutes in the right way? That's why you need to do the lateral tube walking. That's why you need to strengthen your gluteus medius and your gluteus maximus. That's why you need to stretch your hip flexors. That's why you need, guess what? Yoga. That's why I talk so much about yoga, because yoga will fix this. I'm not saying it will help it. I'm not saying it will make it feel a little bit better. I'm saying it'll fucking fix it. I'm going right out there and telling you, if you practice yoga regularly, it will fix this problem. It will fix this problem. You will strengthen the shit out of your glutes, and you will be lengthening these muscles. That's it. That's it. It doesn't matter what kind of yoga you do. You got to find a yoga that you enjoy. You got to find a yoga that you enjoy. I personally wouldn't want to look at that guy or listen to him talk, but I heard that a lot of people have great experiences with it. But, you know, my program has yoga. There are tons of yoga studios in your area. I want you to do something. I want you to try different classes. I want you to try different styles of yoga. I need you to get involved with yoga and with a yoga practice. It's very, very, very important. I mean, if you can't, for example, touch your toes, that's extremely dangerous. It's extremely dangerous. There's going to be a lot more yoga. There's actually a yoga video, a full yoga flow that I'm editing for my premium group. There's regular yoga workouts in my 90-day dash program, but it's very, very important to do yoga, to implement a yoga practice. And the reason is because yoga will cure this. Yoga will fix this. You're doing a lot of lunges. Today is Warrior Wednesday. And Dominic in Premium is always posting pictures and encouraging you to practice different styles of the warrior pose. And you need to participate with that. My premium members, you need to participate with that more, because it goes every day. It's done every day. This kind of stuff is literally a regular exposure. It's a regular practice. It's not a workout. It's not a yoga workout. It's a yoga practice. All my shit is a practice. If you're doing the 90-day dash program, you know that it's a fucking practice. By the way, you got to jump on it this week because the price is going up. The price is going up from $6-7 to $247 because the group is filling up, and that tipping point has reached where the value has soared. Everyone knows that it's awesome, and it's only going to get better from here. So these programs I talk about, the yoga classes and workshops that we do in premium that I have in the 90-day dash, when I tell you to go take a class, when I tell you to expose yourself to this, I'm not just running my mouth. And those of you that know me from premium, those of you that see what I do, that watch my live workouts in premium, those of you that are a part of the 90-day dash program, you know what I'm talking about. You know, because you've done it. You've seen me do it, and you're doing it yourself, and you're seeing the difference. So if you're doing yoga, if you started doing yoga really through Swolenormous, through one of my programs, whether it's premium or the 90-day dash, I want you to leave a comment right now below and tell everyone that might be on the fence for doing yoga at all what it means to you and how it has changed your life and your body and the way you look at fitness. Because this is like one of those things where you're hearing me talk and you're like, oh, that's cool, I'll try it someday. You don't understand. If you're thinking that right now, you don't understand. You haven't gotten it yet. You might think, oh, that's a good idea, I'm gonna get started. You don't get it. You don't get it. And I'm not saying that to be rude, but you don't fucking get it. You're not getting what I'm saying. You're not getting what I'm saying. If you've heard me, if you've been watching me for a week and I've been talking about yoga and you haven't tried it yet, you haven't gotten it yet. If you've heard me talk about yoga and you have not, I'll say it again. I've said it a bunch of times. I've told you all to go fuck yourself a lot of times if you haven't tried yoga yet. And I do that jokingly, but also serious. But here's the thing. If you have heard me at any time within the last year, or you're watching this for the third time and you've heard me mention doing yoga before, but you have not done yoga yet, either one of my yoga flows in premium, whether it's my 90-day dash or any other class, if you have not tried yoga and you've heard me talk about yoga, then you haven't heard anything that I've said, period. You've never watched a YouTube video. You've never watched a daily Swole. If you have not tried yoga and you've heard me talk about it, you have not heard anything that I've said. I don't care if you watched 100 live episodes. If you have not tried yoga up to this point, whether you've watched one episode of the Daily Swole or you've watched 313, you have not heard a word that I've said. And I mean that 100%. If you have not yet tried yoga and you've heard me mention it, and I mention it all the time, then you have not listened, heard, you have not consumed or absorbed a single fucking thing that I've been talking about for the entire year. And I mean that wholeheartedly, and I want you to. You have to try it. I'm not saying you have to like the first class you go to. There are many kinds of yoga, and there are many different instructors, and there's many different shalas, and there's many different videos. There's something for everyone, I guarantee it. Oh, I can't focus, I can't sit still. Well, that's because you have not practiced it. If you're one of those people that says, oh, I suck at yoga, or I can't do it because I can't sit still, those are the people that say they suck at yoga, the people that say, oh, I can't focus, I can't concentrate because, I can't sit still for that long. These are the people that need yoga the most, and I'm serious. And I have no sympathy, I have no patience when someone's like, oh, you need it more than anyone. You need it more than anyone. And the way I always look at yoga, whenever I'm doing a class and something sucks or it's hard or like my body just can't get into that position or it's really uncomfortable, those are the things I need the most. Yoga will expose every weakness, but all right, here's the thing. I'll make it simple for you. When you do a workout, you don't get instant results. You feel good, but you don't get instant muscle growth. You don't get instant fat loss. When you do a yoga class, if you want immediate gratification with fitness, I always say you're not going to get it. You got to fucking be in it for the long haul, right? I mean, float some thumbs. I always say that. You're in it for, this is life. You are in it for the long haul. There's no quick fix. I want to lose weight quickly. Fuck you. Not going to happen. I want to build muscle fast. What's the best way to build muscle fast? Not going to happen. If you do yoga, you get instant gratification. You get instant feedback. You get instant gratification. You will feel better now. You will feel better immediately after your workout. It starts working immediately. Exercise doesn't start working immediately. Your workouts, you don't see change immediately. You don't lose weight immediately. When you do yoga, you get instant. It's so funny because yoga is a practice and it's for life and it's meditation. Everyone thinks, if you don't know, if you ever tried it, you think it's all slow and and like monks chanting and shit. When you do yoga, it's so funny because it's so on the breath and it's pace and this. When you do yoga, you get it's like the exact polar opposite. You get instant feedback. You get instant gratification. You get instant benefits. You get instant positivity. It will make a change in you mentally and physically today. It will be working on your body for the better today. It will be purifying you today. You will benefit immediately. On how to begin working out again with arthritic knees, yoga. Yeah, that's quite a boom. I already answered your question. Watch this episode again. Yoga, 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 yoga. Thanks for joining me every day at 12 noon Eastern Time. Thanks for joining me for episode 313 today of the Daily Mother, Swole, the most muscular podcast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex. Our biceps. Make sure you share this broadcast. Today was a great one. Thanks for joining me every day, 12 noon Eastern Time, on Facebook Live at Swolenormous. Thanks for watching on YouTube at Swolenormous and listening to the podcast on SoundCloud and iTunes. Make sure you ask questions. You can still ask them below. I saw people asking questions. They will be gotten to on my YouTube channel. Make sure you ask a question, hashtag AskPapaSwolio, to be featured on my new playlist. If you haven't checked that out on YouTube, it is the Bomb Nuts 1 minute, 2 minute videos answering your questions specifically. If you haven't tried yoga, do your yoga today. I'm doing it. It's hump day. I am going to go activate the shit out of my glutes, and I recommend that you do the same. My Swolenormous Premium group, make sure that you stay tuned at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, going live. Going to recap yesterday's workout, the back flies and the posterior deltoid, and go over a little bit about the poll that I posted, and clarify that a little bit more in Premium. And for everyone else, if you have not jumped on Premium, you still get access to the 7-day free trial today, and today you still get that $67 $180 discount for the 90-day dash if you are just getting involved with your fitness. So don't miss out on that. Peace, peace, peace. I'll see you all tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern Time, as per always. Motherfuckers. Later.